My name's Krick. I'm 22 years old from Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and I do government welding, building nuclear components for the Navy. It's a 1976 Honda CB750 in a gooseneck frame. Got a 6-foot long rigid girder front end, twisted sissy bar, handlebars going through the gas tank. It's all straight pipe exhaust. Got a suede seat on it, and a very 70s paint job inspired by Kelsey Martin bikes and other bikes of that era. Trying to build this bike to mimic something you'd see at a 70s bike show and something you'd see in Easy Rider or Street Chopper magazine. I love the rigid front end with the twisted steel. Just kind of sets this bike apart from the rest. Ties in nice with the gooseneck frame, something you also don't see a lot, especially with it being a swing arm frame and a Honda motor in that. And then you got the handlebars going through the gas tank. Got a prism style tank that I made all individual pieces with a single T-bar that was inspired by a Kelsey Martin bike built back in the 70s. He had a single T-bar, but I thought, how can I do this? Put this through the gas tank with it being a gooseneck frame and the angle of the front end, so it just worked out really well. So I built the girder front end from scratch. That was the first thing I ever built for the bike. When I got this frame, I think it was sitting outside for years, so the whole inside was rusted. It was all pitted, and it just needed replaced from about here front. So I always loved the gooseneck frames, and I thought that would be a perfect chance to do that. Paint job was done by Barry at Depth of Image Paint. I said I want a candy paint job, 70s inspired, kind of do what you want. Put some infinity lines in, some flames, and he definitely nailed that. Definitely gave this bike the look it needed. Yeah, I love the way it turned out. It turned out exactly how I wanted it. I tried to make it kind of as period correct, something you'd see back then as I could, getting some inspiration from old motorcycle magazines and movies and stuff. So yeah, I couldn't be happier with it. Biggest struggles would be time, materials. It was hard getting steel for a while. It was hard getting welding gas. I was going through gas probably every 2 weeks. So that was probably the biggest struggle on it. Finding time, balancing a full-time job on top of that. So everything before work and on the weekends, it was all dedicated to this bike build, and I got a lot of hours into this bike. Yep, so I built the rear fender out of individual pieces as well, all cut with a grinder, same thing as the tank. It's based on a Crazy Frank prism fender, which are extremely hard to find nowadays, so I figured I'd try to make my own, and it's just something different. I just thought it was pretty cool. I learned a lot more about fabrication. I used to do it a lot, but haven't really done it in a while, so I never built a gas tank, never built a fender, frame, front end, never did any of this stuff on a custom chopper, so I definitely learned a lot from it. Learned about rake and trail and how important that is, especially on this long of a bike. So I'd say fabrication was probably the biggest learning experience on this bike. Doesn't ride bad for as long as it is. It's not as bouncy as I thought. It's kind of, the front end really doesn't move much. I still have suspension in the rear, even with these digger style shocks. But turning it around, you better have a big parking lot. But once you get going, you can handle corners fine, and it's really not a bad bike to ride. I'd like to thank my dad, Depth of Image Paint, Moon Rider, Kelsey, she did the seat. I'd like to thank DGM Chrome and Charger Metals for doing the chrome plating, Alternative Chrome for doing all the prep and polish work for the chrome. I'd like to thank Nick, Dylan, Rich, thank Biltwell for having me in this competition, and all their sponsors for supporting this. And HondaChopper.com definitely helped promote this bike and what I was doing, so that was really nice.